To the National Intel Report, Robbie Noel sitting in for John Stackmiller on this Tuesday. Before we go to the phones, Bob, you can either come down to gross incompetence, jointly committed by various mints around the world, or you can delve into, obviously, a conspiracy. But I find it highly unusual and very questionable that the Canadian Royal Mint, the U.S. Government Mint, the Australian Perth Mint, the Austrian Mint, the British Royal Mint, and a number of other government mints around the world have all kind of in unison suspended orders, new orders on gold and silver coins to allow them to obviously meet the demand and obviously backlog of orders. Now, which one is it? Gross incompetence or a collective scheme to deny gold and silver to the public?
The nation is in the midst of the Great Depression. To protect their savings, people begin to hoard gold coins, draining the government's gold reserve. It's a development that will draw the attention of the newly inaugurated president, Teddy Roosevelt's cousin, Franklin D. Roosevelt.
And I am certain that on this day, my fellow Americans.
On his first day in office, Roosevelt orders all gold to be returned in exchange for banknotes.
A collective scheme to deny gold and silver to the public.
Why did I know you were going to say that?
And I'll tell you why. I don't believe in coincidence. You know, I spent several years doing counterintelligence work, and those things just don't happen. And we just had the G20 meeting where they probably further talked about it. You know, what we're witnessing here actually began about 6 months ago, didn't it, Rob?
Well, sure.
So this was planned. I mean, yes, it's a big offtake. You know, I'm looking at a report that just came in. They're talking about the sale of 200,000 silver American Eagles that was sold out in 24 hours. Did you know about that?
No, but I wouldn't be shocked or surprised. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised.
And people are fleeing. I think it's a combination of two things. I think that the central banks, which are all controlled by the same group of people all over the world, they don't want people to have gold and silver. And at the same time, I think you're seeing record demand because I think people are finally getting it, or at least more people than before. Most of the people who listen to a program like this own gold and silver, and they understand what the problems are. We have new people learning all the time because of this program and other programs like it and the Internet. And so the offtake all over the world, as you well know, is increasing, and it's going to continue to increase. And I think, you know, it's just like in India, the price of gold goes down, say, to $700, and they buy a lot, and it goes up to $950, and they don't buy very much compared to what they did lower. And then gold goes to $1030. Then they wish they had a bought. And so it's all relative. Look, we're dealing with fiat currencies all over the world. It doesn't matter what the price of gold or silver are. You buy if you have dollars or euros or anything else, because they're all fiat currencies. They're all going to go down in value against gold and silver as long as it's hyperinflation.
And it seems as though the good news keeps on rolling out of Washington, D.C., which is now the nation's financial capital of the world.
Well, you know, actually, all of these announcements that we're seeing here are extraordinarily detrimental to the economy in the long run.
Of course they are.
in the short run, we may see we'll call it a flatlining for maybe 6 months or a year. The inner core of the American economy is, I don't care what they do, it's not going to improve. And so they'll be able to go sideways for probably a year to 2 years. And I know a lot of people question that, but, you know, when asked before, I said we had longer time, and very few believed us. And as it's rolling out here over the past couple of years, we have had and will have, continue to have for some time, and that's 2 years, maybe 3, of parallel movement in the economy, but a degeneration process going on at the same time.
Speaking with Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster. Bob, your thesis obviously has some credibility based on statements made yesterday by Mr. Ben Bernanke, that it looks like the Fed has allegedly a lot more bullets in their gun than we are led to believe. First, he obviously hinted that the Fed is going to cut rates come December 15th, probably down to 0.5 point. But he also inferred that they will print as much money as needed in order to free up the credit markets.
That's correct. So this is a reflection of the behind-the-scenes meetings that were held at the G20 conference. It was billed as Bretton Woods 2, and of course they didn't talk about Bretton Woods at all. And this is what went on behind the scenes. And they all agreed that they were going to create as much money and credit as possible, and they would also all lower interest rates to 0. And so that's where we're headed. And once you get there, there's nothing else you can do except print money and issue credit. And, of course, the Fed will distribute that, and the U.S. Treasury will print more bonds and more debt. And I believe that the Treasury has already begun printing bonds and passing them out as collateral, which is immediate monetization. And I think they're secretly doing that. You got to remember that these people believe that they are above the law, that they are the masters of the universe. And so they can do anything they want, or at least that's what they feel. And so I think in the final analysis, we're going to see them very, very unhappy as their world falls apart. Because this time, during this coming depression, everybody who wants to know is going to know who did what to them. And they're not going to get away with it this time. And there have been other instances where they haven't gotten away with it as well. But nations chose to banish them. Well, we won't do that. We'll try them and put them in jail and relieve them of their fortunes.